This week's video is all about what's happening in January here in Chicagoland with a gardener whose garden is covered in white. I'm so glad that you wanted to join me. Besides my garden goodies, we bought a foam topper, and it came in like 6 mil plastic, and it's going to be perfect for using as a little greenhouse. Well, I am late to the party, but this is where I am going to do the giant onion challenge on Team No Lights. This is a south-facing window in my living room, and I'm going to put together that 2-tier shelf that I got at IKEA yesterday, and that's the spot. Just have to show her off. She is really pretty right now. So here's that little 2-tier shelf that I picked up when we went to IKEA yesterday. Let's get in here and see if this is what I want to do. I also have those black ones, but I think this is probably going to be the one that I like the most. Well, this looks pretty straightforward. Most IKEA products are. I'll show you what it looks like all put together. Well, I think that's going to work out perfectly and actually save money. It's going to kind of kill the aesthetic in here, but I love plants and so does Al, so what the hey. These are actually little breakdown shoe racks that we got yesterday at IKEA on either side here, but it's going to save money having it in this south window. Yeehaw. So this is what we are going to put together next. That is the tall, thin shelving unit to plant start on. Had to rejig the dining room a little bit, move the baker's rack from one side to the other. So there's a nice little alcove for this to fit in, and I hope we made the right decision. Now this is pretty good practice for all those birdie's beds we're going to be putting together. It's that time of year when you have to keep checking in at the Dollar Tree to see what garden things they've put out. And they had a pretty good selection, including seeds. So I picked up a variety of radishes and peas and some zinnias. The radish and peas are to sprout. And I am also happy that I found the stackable planters there again, because I've had lots of questions about those, and this year they had in the store the blue and the olive green color as well as the terracotta and beige. They're really, really good looking. I also found the clips that I loved so much last year, and there was the little takeaway containers, which make the perfect environment to test seed viability. And I also picked up some condiment squeeze bottles for watering. We then went to the Hawthorne Gardens. Oh, it looks so empty. That's always so full during season. But we had a nice time in there. Of course, what I was looking for was seeds, and it's going to be a couple weeks before they get their full complement of seeds in. But we managed to find a couple of little friends to bring home. I loved this little guy and picked him up, but Al really liked this big one. He was just a little bit scary for me, a little more griffin than gargoyle, but Al loved him, so we'll figure out something for him in the yard. I've been meaning to get microgreens on the go since Christmas, and it just hasn't happened, so today's the day. I'm going to get some peas going for their shoots. I'll get some radishes going, some mixed microgreens, and some arugula saved from my garden. Now, I like to use hemp mats. I got this idea from Audrey over at Real Food Comes Dirty. And this is the kind that I can buy here in the US on Amazon. But I did notice today that there are hemp grow mats available in the UK on Amazon Prime. So the reason I like these hemp mats is they are so neat and tidy. It's so much better than soil to keep things clean. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to get this mat wet. So now I will get a lot of peas on here because it works good with a lot of peas, very dense. I've done this now for multiple years and it works great. Now I'm going to add a bit more water to rehydrate these peas. You can soak them before you do this, but I'm lazy. And I found that I just don't need to bother with that step. Oh, let me stop and talk about this. This is a condiment squeezer. You know, you put your ketchup or mustard or something like that in it to use. I have carpal tunnel. So I find that the sprayer, if I use it too much, gets my carpal tunnel talking. This doesn't. So if you've got carpal tunnel like me, this condiment squeezer may be a good option for you. But now I've got those well soaked, and they'll take that up, and I'm going to put the lid on. This is also something that I bought at the dollar store, so it's readily available, at least here in the US. I'm sure there's equivalents all over the world too. One thing I do is I take my box cutter knife and I put a little triangle in the top to vent. So you can see there my little triangle that I've made, and that works out really good so that it's got the humidity, but not a super excess of humidity. That's what works for me. Now this is a tray that they sell at Costco with street tacos in and other prepared foods. And it works perfectly for 3 of these hemp mats. So that's what I'm going to do, is get 3 of them going. Look at that, just like it was made for them. First, I'm going to get some arugula going, then I'm going to get some microgreen mix and some radish. Okay, on this first one, I'm putting some of my saved arugula seeds. These have a tendency to sprout the fastest of every microgreen that we've tried. And you can do, again, a lot of them on one tray. This is old seed, 2021, but I'm sure it's going to sprout. This is from last year, a microgreen mix that I got at MI Gardener. I think it's got mustard and radish and probably some other brassica sprouts in there. Very tasty little mix. Okay, I'm going to use that little mix right up. Seems like a lot of seed, but it works for me. Now, these are for $1.25 at the dollar store, and these are radishes, and they work marvelously. Ooh, I'm going to have to grab another pack. And now I am going to put the lid on these, and I tell you, they're going to be up, at least the arugula, in 2 days, typically. It's typically a cycle of 7 to 10 days. So if we want another set of this, I need to start it again in about 4 or 5 days, depending on, you know, what we're up to. But I pretty much keep these sprouting all winter. Number one, it kind of scratches the itch to grow when it's, you know, snowing outside. And number two, we get something gorgeous to eat. And it's my understanding that these little microgreens are packed with more vitamins than just the plant itself. So quite healthy. So my long-awaited Alsace seeds have arrived from Canada. Thank you, Allie. And I'm going to get them sown now for Pete's Alsace competition. She also sent me some baby pixie cabbage. They get about 5 inches across. I'm excited about that. And some dwarf purple heart tomatoes. Thank you. I'm excited about both of those. But let's get on to those Alsace seeds for Pete's competition. I have prepared the seed starting mix the same way I always do. It is a peat-based seed starting mix. That's what's the most popular here in the States. And I've added some extra perlite to it. And I do put fertilizer in mine because I get a little lazy sometimes and I don't get back to pricking out those seeds quick enough. All right, with these Alsace seeds, I am going to put 2 per cell. And I'm going to try both the lights and the no lights. That's why I've got 2 different containers here. I have a south-facing window here in my living room, and we just went and bought a little IKEA unit so that I would have multiple things in the window. The only thing I have to be careful of is that here in Chicagoland it gets mighty cold, much colder than you do in UK, and that window area in the nighttime can get very cool. So I will probably be bringing them down off of the window area into the room where it's warmer when it's not the daylight hours. So let's get these seeds covered up here. And I will spritz them just a little more with water, although I have dampened the compost that I started these seeds in. Now that no lights is going to go on a south-facing window. I bought a little IKEA unit for them to sit on. And the lights will go in my dining room on a station which is not fully set up yet because I have not yet found my lights. I don't know where we put them. but I'm probably going to put them over the radiator on the floor, forced air heat, for a little warmth to get them to germinate first, and then as soon as I see germination, they'll come off of there. So I am going to take these 2 luncheon containers that I saved and put them on top of the other one to create a humidity dome. Good luck, my little friends. Well, these are both great seeds, the Walla Walla and the Kelsey. The Walla Walla I did last year. It's a lot like an Elsa Craig. It got big and they are sweet, but they didn't store very well. Now the Kelsey has a nice little story. I tried to source these here in the United States and I couldn't, but I really wanted to try them. They were supposed to be a delicious large onion. This seed company, West Coast, will sell in the United States, but they don't sell the Kelsey in the United States. So I talked to my friend Allie and asked her if she couldn't get this for me, and she was so kind to do that. And I am very, very, very excited about growing these. And this was well before the large onion competition with Pete. But I'm going to sow both of these now. Okay, next up is the ruby red onion and the Italian red of Florence. Now, the ruby red I've done for years. It is an awesome storage onion. It goes into February, no problem, most years. This Italian red of Florence, we usually pull it like a spring onion, a green onion, sometimes with a slight little bulge at the bottom. Last year, I left some because we just didn't get to them, and it bulbed up, and it was gorgeous. And it stored very, very well for us. So I am going to do that purposely this year, is leave them to become a bulb onion. So next up are the reds. Next up are my storage onions, the Cortland and the Patterson. The Cortland is supposed to be delightful, but I didn't have real good luck with it last year, so I'm hoping for better things this year. The Patterson, that's my go-to. That is the one that just stores like a champion for months and months and months. It actually went until they were gone and just about to harvest the next batch last year. And next we're going to do the shallots. First is Zabroon. It is a long banana type shallot, and I love them, very tasty. The other one is Consafor. This one is also a delicious shallot, larger. That's why I like both of these variety. They're a little bit larger. I was disappointed with the shallots I did this year, Red Sun, because they were so tiny. Taste was fine, but they were difficult to peel. Here's my forced air radiator. It's by the sliding glass door that heads outside. It's dark now. I've got the light on outside. I took 4 of these little kitchen ramekins and turned them upside down. And now what I'm going to do is I have a bottom tray with those Alsays on there. And now I'm going to somehow get these others on here for some bottom heat. Okay, that's just how it's going to have to be. Those no lights and lights Alsay, and then all the rest of those alliums that I sewed in these little 8 trays. So I love these little trays. They have a silicone bottom. This pushes up beautifully when it's time, and out pops the seedling with no issues. I'm quite pleased with this. It's going to cost me nothing extra because the furnace is on anyway, and it's blowing heat there, and I can feel it right now. It's warming up that tray, so we should have good germination. Thanks so much for joining me today. It was another mishmash of stuff, but it's what January is all about. If you'd like to join Pete's Giant Onion Challenge, hop on over to his channel. Details in the description. And a special thanks to my friend Allie. Take care. Remember, sometimes the only thing we harvest is knowledge, and that's okay. Bye for now. We'll see you on the next one.